Now that we have our menus functioning, the next thing we're going to do is take that third level menu item down here and we're going to position this off to the right hand side of sublink 3. So let's come back to our CSS file. After our CSS rule that targets unordered lists inside of an unordered list, we're going to come in here and target a third level nested unordered list. So we'll type nav space ul space ul space ul, put in our brackets. Let's come in here and let's set a left property of 100%, comma, space, and then a top property of 0. So with this in place, let's go back to the browser. Let's hit reload. Roll over Design Center, sublink 1, 2, and 3. Now when we hover over sublink 3, notice that the submenu is now positioned at the top. This is because the only one of this particular element's parents to have a position property is 2 ULs above where this particular item is. So what we need to do is come back and set a position property on the immediate parent of this item. So back in the CSS file, let's get our cursor above this rule. We're going to target nav space ul space ul space li. This particular list item here is the parent of this nested element. Let's put in our brackets, and then we're going to set a position property of this element to relative, which means that any items absolute positioned inside of this element will be positioned in relation to this element. So with that in place, hit save. Let's go back to the browser. Let's hit reload. Let's hover over sublink 3, and we can now see the submenu positioned over to the right. Now setting that left property to 100% means the left edge of the third level menu is at the 100% width mark of the second level menu. If you wanted a slight overlap, we could come back and change the top level property from 100% to, let's say, 90%. With that change, we can go back to the browser, hit reload, and then when we hover over sublink 3, you can see that there's a 10% overlap between the second level menu and the third level menu. And now back in the CSS file, you can do something similar with the top property as well. So if we came back here and set the top property to 10 pixels, then reloaded this in a browser, not only will we have a slight overlap on the left property, but the top property will be shifted down 10 pixels as well. And you can make changes on the third level positioned menu item based on your design aesthetic. I'm going to come back into my file and set these back to top 0 and left property at 100%. So now with our submenus fully functional and formatted, next we'll create some CSS rules that will target and override only the top level items.